Well, good morning, folks. This is Thursday, and we're having our coffee with Job. I've got my coffee from Zucchero's down on Hampden Road in Artarmon. Great Italian coffee shop. Like the rest of us, they're struggling to cope with everything that's going on. So I do like to go and support the local businesses in that way. Well, I don't know what kind of day you've had today, and some of you may be struggling with some things, but I doubt any of you have had a day like the passage we look at today, like Job had. So Job chapter 1, verse 13. One day, when Job's sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine, a messenger came to Job. And now what we get is, if you read the passage, we get 4 messengers, and they come with just devastating news. So first of all, they talk about a terrorist attack. Well, there's 2 terrorist attacks, one the Sabaeans and the other Chaldeans. And in effect, they wipe out much of his stock and his wealth. And then another extraordinary thing happens, that the fire of God fell from the heavens and burned up the sheep and the servants. And I'm the only one who's escaped to tell you there was this just incredible storm. So his workforce is gone, his sheep have gone, his cattle have gone, his camels have gone, terrorist attacks, natural disasters. And then the killer blow. Another messenger came and said, your sons and daughters were feasting. It looks like it was a party at the eldest brother's house, maybe his birthday. And a mighty wind came in and it struck the 4 corners of the house, came from the desert, and the house collapsed, and they all died. Now, you know, they used to say up in Brora, they say in Scotland, that when there's one death, there'll be another 2. They come in threes, and I guess when you look for patterns, you get them. But I doubt any of us will have experienced a day like this. I was watching Wolf Hall, you know, the adaptation, the BBC adaptation of Hilary Mantel's wonderful novel about Thomas Cromwell, and there's that really affecting scene in the book and in the adaptation of when he discovers his wife dead from the plague, and then he goes and sees his 2 daughters and his 2 child daughters, and they're dead from the plague. The devastation that some human beings have to experience. Now, I meet people who say things like, I don't believe in God because, and they'll say something like, I prayed to pass my exams and I didn't get it, or my granny died, or my dog died, or something. And, you know, when I wrote Ask, I was quite intrigued that I asked teenagers from all over the world for questions. The only countries where questions about suffering came were from Western countries. And I do wonder if we don't quite understand, we don't grasp that we're living in a world with suffering. I'm meeting just now with COVID. I'm meeting lots of people, very interestingly this week, lots of people are basically saying, look, why can't we just accept that people get sick and people die? We just have to get on with living our lives. And I think that's true, actually. I think it's not that you don't take sensible precautions, but we live in a world of sickness. We live in a world where there are natural disasters. We live in a world where there are terrorist attacks. And we mustn't be overcome by fear. In fact, I was just reading here in the paper today, in the Australian, of Zaki Anwari, who's the young Afghan footballer who died falling from a plane, and it's just incredible. He was young and had never seen the Taliban. He was afraid. He was afraid of something he hadn't seen. What does Job do? This is astonishing. Job got up, tore his robe, shaved his head, then he fell to the ground in worship and said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I shall depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. You know what Job did? It's not that he didn't mourn. It's not that he was stoical. It's not that he didn't care. He was broken. But he recognized that all he had, including his children, were a gift from God, and that one day he would lose them all. It's just he didn't expect it to be this day, all at the same time, before he died. There's a sense almost in which he did die. Job, Satan thought, this will turn him against you. No, it didn't. It didn't turn him against God. And I would say that has to be our response. Our response is to worship God and to trust in his goodness. And maybe I'll just finish with this. There was a Scottish preacher Rabbi Duncan, who said this: "There is no pit so deep that Christ has not gone deeper still." Just remember that. See you tomorrow. God bless.